It's finally here, man. It's finally here, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it since I read the chapter, which honestly I feel like a broken record saying because I haven't been able to stop thinking about any of these chapters in this wonderful arc of Goat Nigashima, son. Especially since we started Roof Piece, man. Like, listen, bro. These 4-digit chapters, the chapters with the 4 digits in the best-selling manga in history, they are hitting all kinds of different, man. I'm talking. Yo, we at this point in time, I received a couple of comments this week. So many people in agreement, man. We at this point in time are in one of the best stretches in the entire series. And that's saying something. Because One Piece has stretches that are out of this world. Out of this world. Actually, that's a Recon piece I would love to do in the future one day. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Mr. X Reacts did a video on that. And it inspired me that one day I want to make a video type of response to it. Like with my own top 10 favorite stretches in this series. Because One Piece has had so many incredible, either 3, 5, 7, 9, 10, like chapter stretches that are just nuts. I mean, just back-to-back insanity. And it looks like at this point in time, we are in one of those stretches. And where today's chapter ended off, son, just when things were looking bright, when things were looking great, when things were looking all Gucci. Even though we knew, because Big Mama's barely taken any damage, nothing. And when I say barely, I'm talking minuscule, if any, minuscule. The counter shock. That was about it, right? But in Kaido's case, we're like, yo, we're putting in work on Kaido. The goats are putting in work. Yes, I held the volume there. You already know. Listen, bro. I know I've gone back to this several times, but this duo, this tag team of Luffy and Zoro right now, they are the MVPs. Like, the king and his right-hand man are going in there like swimwear. And for recently, that I've been in a Call of Duty mood, playing a lot of Cold War, attempting to reach Master Prestige before this season ends. It's really taken me back to my roots, like playing Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2. When one of my best friends from high school, we always played together. So we played as a duo all of these games together, especially Modern Warfare 2, though, man. Especially that one. And so when I think back to that era, I can't help but think of him in those years back in high school, right? And so when I see Luffy and Zoro on the come up right now, and I see them taking on these massive emperors, dudes that have been in the game for so long, their skill level is out of this world, and yet they're still going ham on them and proving their worth on these seas, crafting their legends before our very eyes. Reminds me of the good old days of Modern Warfare 2, man. It really does. It really, really does. But enough about your boy. We're here to talk about the king. We're here to talk about that Zoro greatness. And we're here to talk about this man Kaido, which, by the way, I was told. So, in an SBS for volume 98, apparently 2 things were confirmed when it comes to Kaido and Zoro. I found it very fascinating. I did not know this prior to reading the chapter, because normally when spoilers are out or whatever, I tend to avoid all types of One Piece new information coming in until I read the chapter, right? So now that I've read the chapter and I was able to look on, either watch a video on the SBS or read up on it myself and see exactly what's there, yo, this man Kaido, shout out to Roronoa Zoro for providing this comment. Because legit, if not, I never would have gone out of my way to search this up, bro, for the SBS. Dude, Kaido has the fish fruit, Azure Dragon. And for my Trails fans out there, the Kiseki fans out there, who know the importance of the Ao, of the Azure in that series. That was the first thing I thought of. And so bringing it back into One Piece terms, seeing Kaido, always in his blue, majestic dragon form, I never thought that it could possibly be based on like a legendary mythical creature. Like, of course it's a dragon, but like a variation of that dragon and an Azure dragon. Like, yo, that's nasty. Like, just saying that is beast, dude. Kaido is an Azure dragon. And so with that being said, with him officially being an Azure dragon, which I'm going to assume, you know, coming off of being a fish, the fish fruit, it is like the evolved form of that, you know, a true Gyarados per se, right? But then what comes after that? What is a hybrid form for Kaido as an Azure dragon? Like, seriously, what is that? What does it even look like? We see the silhouette at the end of this week's chapter of the best-selling manga in history. We get to see it, right? A little silhouette here. We get to see multiple horns, you know, the massive club. The scales are still there. Obviously, he's in more of a humanoid state because it's a hybrid form, but he's still looking like a monster. And I can't wait until we actually get to see this state, because with the way the series is going right now, I honestly have no idea what's gonna happen next. I've been shocked every week when we get back to the rooftop. Like, when we stay on the roof, it's nuts, because we normally don't stay in one place for such a long time. But the thing is, now that Kaido's hybrid form has been revealed, or at the very least showcased that this is what's next, right? Do y'all really think that we're gonna see Kaido's hybrid form before the likes of King's hybrid form and Queen's hybrid form at the very least? Like, let alone everyone else, you know what I mean? Like, all the other executives in Toiropo, right? You know, seeing all of their hybrid forms. So, I mean, safely assume that within this chapter we got to see, you know, Ulti chasing around Nami and Usopp in her hybrid form and whatnot, right? And so, you know, we're already starting to see those developments over there on that side. And I'm not entirely sure, because this chapter to me felt like an end of act chapter. It really did. This chapter for me could have ended the act and I would have been straight. I would have been fine, because it was just that good. If the act would have ended right there, I would have been like, bam. But the fact that the act didn't end there not only has me shook for what's about to take place here, that Oda has something even better in store to end the act on, more than this, but also it kind of has me shook because Oda can go two ways about ending this act right now. He could show us the rest of the matchups. You know, he could cut over to the awesome sauce of Nami and Usopp versus Page One and Ulti. Cut over to Yamato and Momonosuke, Frankie, Sasaki, Jinbei, Who's Who, whatever. That's down there, right? Marco, King, whatever. You know, Sanji, Black Maria possibly getting the substitute, so Sanji can make his way up to King and start going up in like Sumo, which is what I hope will happen. But regardless of what takes place, this is what's so exciting right now, that no matter where we go, it's going to be nuts and it's going to be important. Like, no matter where we go, it's going to not only be insane, it's going to be important. And that's one of my favorite things about the speech that we got from CP0 this week. Not only that CP0's here, and that by itself is insane. You know, they've pretty much, you know, declared, Oda has said through CP0, you know, what they're going to be doing in this arc. They're going to be writing commentary as it goes on, watching the go board, being like, yo, okay, things are moving over here, things are moving over here, and we're going to get to see a visual representation of how the war is shaping out for both sides on this go board with CP0 in control. And it's truly incredible, the fact that, you know, the way that was worded, and like, yo, I'm gonna wait for both of them to just take each other out and we'll swoop in after that, take care of business, like in true sly, you know, cypher pole fashion. But I really love what they said when it came to, you know, making sure and letting us know, as not only as the audience, but to each other, that even if they win on the roof, as impossible of a task as that may seem, even if they win and they beat Big Mom and Kaido on the roof, the war isn't over. Like, they need to win their matches on the bottom. The matches on the bottom are just as important as the matches that are taking place on the roof. And I love that so much, because it's placing importance on every single aspect of the battlefield. It's placing importance on how this feels like a true war, and that our crew that is currently taking on some of the top tiers in Kaido's crew, it feels like generals going after each other in warfare. And as a Kingdom fan, this is what I was really hoping we would see. A combination of Marineford and Enies Lobby with one-on-one matchups in charge of like massive armies behind them, and or being in charge of an important position to where they cannot lose whatever it is that they're losing, or if not they're going to lose that territory, or just they're going to have the side of the war like tilt in Kaido's favor more than it already is. And so with this chapter 110% confirmed to us, at least for me, that every single battle now is extremely important, because 27,000 to 5,000, every life matters. It is like, Chopper's gonna have to be out there doctoring, like the 4Kids dub opening stated. He's gonna have to be out there in like swimwear and making sure like, we're good. Marco's gonna have to be doctoring down there. Law's gonna have to be doctoring up there, because listen, we're gonna need everyone. We're going to need everyone to come out on top and do their thing. And it has me so excited, because it's gonna raise the stakes so much. And because the Straw Hats themselves know that, we're going to see them pushed up against the wall, knowing for sure they can't run away. They have to win somehow. And a lot of these matchups that seem like they're kind of impossible to pull off, we're going to see the very best of the Straw Hats, especially from a post-time skip standpoint, in which a lot of these individuals haven't gotten their own time to shine in combat. You know what I mean? And so to see that in action here in Onigashima, with all of the build-up from the time skip, I wanted to figure out and learn exactly how much, like the extent of what they've learned over the past 2 years, and then what they've learned ever since then, throughout the past couple of arcs. Like seeing all of that come into fruition here, and all in order to progress forward, open the borders of Wano, and to make sure that Luffy becomes king. They're gonna pull this off, but in the manner that all of them do pull it off, it's gonna feel like a whole bunch of different JoJo fights, where it's gonna be all about outsmarting, outmaneuvering, and making sure they come out with a W, because that's all that matters right now. And just looking back on when situations like this happened earlier on in the series, like in the major arcs, like in Alabasta and Enies Lobby, they always churned out some of the best fights in the entire series when it comes to the rest of the Straw Hats. Right, and so I'm really hoping, and that's why I'm equally as excited for Roof Piece and below the Roof One Piece right now, because no matter where we go, we're gonna be seeing some greatness, whether it be from the Straw Hats or on the roof. And so it's really it's an extremely exciting time, man. Like Onigashima is just, no matter what happens from here on out, it can only get better. And I know it's tough for me to say that after getting this amazing chapter, but it really can only get better, man. And so I'm super excited for that. One more comment on the CP0 thing before we move on and talk about some more stuff. I received this comment, man. This junk blew my mind, dude. Yo. And the thing is, right, we know a popular theory about Sabo coming to Wano, thanks to Kuma blowing him away. And ever since we got chapter 956 with Sabo and the Vivi and Alabasta and something crazy going down, right? Ever since then, we've kind of let that theory sit by, like, okay, Sabo, he might not actually be in this arc. Like, he's, of course, dealing with something outside right now, He's either on the run, he's captured, something's going down with Sabo, right? But all of that aside, I just want to talk about how cool of a what-if scenario would be if he actually did manage to get bopped away by Kuma in the nick of time and make it to Wano. Imagine this scenario. Because when I saw this comment, the creativity juices started flowing. And I imagined a scenario where CP0, because they're all masked and we don't know who's under there, right? As far as I'm concerned, if somebody who's a master of espionage in the way that we saw Sabo being, especially in the anime back in the Reverie, if a master of espionage, Solid snakes his way around there, and he's chilling there, could you imagine the revelation of one of the dudes taking off his mask? And it's Sabo, who pwned one of the members of CP0 and donned the mask, just waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike here against Cyberpol. Like, yo, I would be marking out, son. I would be marking out, but of course, that's extremely out there. 98% not happening. But just imagine that possibility, son. Like, yo, the mask comes off and it's Sabo, bro. Ready to go up in like somewhere against CP0. Like, yo, I got y'all now. I'm one of y'all. What you gonna do now? What you gonna She pulls it. He can. Like, it'd be nasty, man. I want to see some Sabo soon. And I want to get some answers, which it's like I said before, no matter where we go, it's going to be crazy. If Act 3 ends soon, because at this point, you know, my original theory, and I was going to make an Act 3 predictions after this chapter, I was like, yo, I was, like, in my mind, I was 100% like, this act ends on hybrid. This act ends on the counterattack beginning in hybrid form Kaido. We already got it. Like, even though we haven't seen it, we'll see it, and then the act ends now, but it's like, I don't know how this act ends, because I don't know what Oda has in store. I don't know what Oda has in store. And then, of course, there's that thing about Act 3 ending on a tragedy, and it's like, okay, is the tragedy happening on Wano, or is the tragedy happening outside of Wano? Like, does Act 3 end with us, not us as the Straw Hats, but us as the viewer, finding out what happened, what truly happened? Like, whether it was Cobra that died, or something crazy that happened with Vivi, or what really happened with Sabo, like... And the thing is, when Act 3 ends, that's going to be the beginning of our problems, or the beginning of our worries, and the beginning of our hype as a fan. Because, Act 3 ends, and we go back to Around the World. What about if we see the SSG? What about if we see Mihawk boxing robots? These brand new inventions by Vegapunk that are foretold to be such an amazing force. They don't have to rely on the warlords no more. Like, when they start fighting the SSG, it's going to be nuts. And so just imagine that happening, and then we start figuring out the truth about what's happening with Sabo and Alabasta and Shirahoshi. What did Wapol say to Morgans? And it's like, starts going down. Blackbeard and Shanks are on the move, baby. It's like, yo. So, like, that stuff is going to be nuts. When Act 3 ends and we start going back to Around the World stuff, you can already tell, like, peak greatness incoming, man. And it's like, I can't, dude. I can't. Like, it's gonna be crazy. But going back to this chapter, I love that CP0 section, of course, because it is Cypher Pole, and just having them here is extremely important. But the dialogue and the way that it was executed, the way that Oda showcased the panel, showed out what everybody else was doing, while they were spitting, really showcasing the importance of every single battle, and then that, now we know exactly what they're there for. And that they expected all this to go the way that it's gone so far, and to be like, yo, do your best, take each other out over here, over there. We'll be waiting, because when all this ends, we're gonna swoop in. And the crazy thing about it is that when they swoop in, what happens then? Who is gonna be there to stop them? Because somebody's gonna have to stop them. Somebody's gonna have to Akainu Shanks stop CP0 and put an end to their nonsense. Who's gonna do it? I highly doubt it's gonna be another Emperor. Shanks, for me, I'm predicting Shanks fights Blackbeard after this arc, on some Ace versus Blackbeard after Annie's Lobby stuff. I really do. I think Shanks either fights Blackbeard after this arc, or we're gonna start that saga of Shanks fighting Blackbeard before they fight each other in Laughtail. They're either fighting each other in Laughtail or they're fighting each other at the end of this arc. To me, those are the only two conclusions that I have. That's it, man. So it could be Shanks. It could be Black. I don't know. That comes in and stops CP0 because everybody else is going to be too exhausted. Or Sabo. Sabo could be the one to pop up out of nowhere, like we were just talking about earlier with that out of this world situation. Or I don't know, man. I have no idea. I have no idea who could put an end to, especially if these members in Cypher Pole are on that level. Like, it's one thing if these dudes are fodder, but if it's a whole nother if these dudes are on at the very least a level as current Rob Lucci. If these dudes are on the level of current Rob Lucci, then an exhausted Straw Hat Pirates and an exhausted crew from the other side, they ain't gonna be able to do nothing, man. These dudes are gonna be near death on both sides by the end of this war. So if they're at the very least capable fighters, it's gonna be nuts. And so somebody's gonna need to step in, man. Whoever that is gonna cause for some insanity. It's like the stepping. What's so crazy about this chapter is that the groundwork was laid out for peak amazingness to take place, and yet the amazingness taking place right now is peak in and of itself. And now we're just like, yo, even if we beat Kaido, we gotta worry about CP0. It's like, yo, it won't stop. It's like back in Thriller Bark, except on like steroids. You know, okay, yeah, we beat we beat Oars and Gecko Moria. Cool. Kuma! You know? It's like, bruh. It's nuts, man. It's nuts. But that aside, before we end this video, I really want to take an opportunity to talk about a few different things, specifically when it comes to the King and Zoro. I absolutely adore the beginning of this chapter, where we continue with Luffy using the Kong Gatling against Kaido here. Just the level of detail and the impacts to the punches going around his body was so cool. Excuse me, it was so cool. And the way that it was laid out, the spreads, man, the facial expressions from like like Big Mom's shocked face of like, yo, is this really happening? Seeing the King just wail on Kaido in this state, and seeing Kaido take it, like, and at the time I was like, yo, he's really wailing on him. And of course, at the end of the chapter, I was like, yo, my boy final bossed, like final formed himself. You know how they do in the video games? Like, yo, HP back to full health, and now they have another bar on top of that, so that their defense and attack is like all the way high on some final boss from a JRPG type of stuff. And now the real final battle begins, you know, and absolute madness. But in Kaido's case, it's like, yeah, at the time I was like, yo, Rio Hockey Luffy's putting in that work right now, and I still honestly believe that. I still believe that this was one of the main reasons. I mean, of course, it's because he's having fun as well. But one of the things that caused him and forced him to go into hybrid form was the combination of Luffy and Zoro going in on him in these past couple chapters. And of course, everybody else has gotten their hits too, but nobody's gotten the same amount of hits as Luffy and Zoro. Like, Luffy and Zoro are on a mission. They are on a mission to make sure that this dude goes down, bro. You know? And so, like I said last week when I was hyping up Luffy with his 3 separate attacks, you know, going straight up in like swimming with the Kong rifle, the Rhino Schneider, and then coming straight up in there with the Kong Gatling. Yo, this Kong Gatling was devastating, son. And I'm so glad that we got to see it in the way that we did, because I really do love the Gatling technique, and seeing it in this way, and then seeing it again at the beginning of this chapter, really showcasing exactly why it is so devastating, that it is an attack that covers such a wide spread. You know, it's like kind of like a shotgun. Shout out to my boy Yusuke Urameshi. Like the pellet spread is like from here to here, so like it's hitting a massive portion of your body, dude. And it's just so dope. I love this technique, and to see it in Gear 4th against Kaido, it looked absolutely incredible, man. And shout out to the King for continuing to go. The King is well, like, it's kind of harder for me to still like fathom not only the fact that we're in the 1000s, but the fact that we're in the 1000s and emperors are duking it out, bro. That Luffy, the goat with the coat, is throwing hands with Kaido, and not just Luffy. This man Zoro, bro. This man Roronoa Zoro, his right hand, listen, bro, bandanaed up, saving Luffy, the assist. My dude is leading the league in assists. Him and Luffy are putting up MVP caliber numbers, just going up, and they're like swimwear. I love this exchange right here. Is so good, dude. Kaido does his spin, the massive twisters all over the place. I mean, the dude is just a walking natural disaster. And this man Zoro says, oh yeah? Well, first of all, you got my king in your mouth, so you better spit him out. Because if you don't, I'm taking exactly what you just did, in the same way I took Kinemon's technique, and I'm firing it right back at you, bro. He goes right in and hits him with the same technique back. Great Dragon Twist. Dude, that is to penetrate Kaido's scales. He penetrates Kaido's scales, bro. And it's like, man, Zoro has been going off these past couple of chapters. But in this chapter, saving Luffy, taking care of Luffy, well, he gets out of G4. And now we have to wait these 10 minutes. And I know for a fact they're going to make it happen. Kid is going to do everything he possibly can do in order to ensure that they take the least amount of damage possible with like the metals. We're going to see some greatness from Kid here while Luffy's down. Same thing with Law. With Law's ability, we can minimize damage to the max, man. When it comes to Killer, of course, you know, he's not going to be able to, you know, defend as well as Kid or Law. But he's going to be able to do his thing as well, man. You know, we can't sleep on Killer. And so, but in Zoro's case, for him to straight up after saving Luffy from Big Mom, goes right back to Kaido and hits him with a taste of his own medicine. It was disgusting, bro. The dragon aura going all around, dog. I mean, it's Roro no Zoro, bro. Legendary, man. Absolutely downright legendary, bro. Like, I expected some greatness when it came to Zoro in this arc. Like, whenever we first came into it, right? We had an amazing first chapter. We came in, Seppuku played, going in. It's like, from then, we were just like, yo, Zoro's gonna go in this arc. But never in a million years did I expect my boy to go in this hard. He is, bro, my man is averaging so, he's going like 60, 30, and 20 right now, bro. I mean, dude is going in on a Yonko. And the crazy thing about it is that when you think about it from Zoro's perspective, if Zoro's doing all of this and he is still relatively new to the game when it comes to Black Blades, when it comes to Enma, he just recently got Enma. Like, yo, can you imagine a Zoro who has been with Enma for a while? Yo! And it's like, it just puts it in perspective for me, like, yo, how powerful is Mihawk? Because Mihawk not only trained Zoro, he's the world's strongest swordsman who has the Blade of Legend, bro. Like, legit. Like, we know this man box Shanks daily. So we know that he's on that level. I'm going to assume when they reveal his bounty by itself, my man's going to be up there in the 2+, maybe even 3 bills, even with no crew. Because he's just that dude. You don't mess with Mihawk. You know what I mean? Like, that's just one dude you don't mess with out in those seas. That's just one dude you don't mess with. And so, with that being said, the fact that Zoro is attempting to surpass him one day, I love that we're getting this against Kaido. Because Kaido has been threatened, and in the past, several individuals that he's feared have all been individuals that have wielded a sword. But in Odin's case, dude left a permanent scar on him that left him, both mentally and physically scarred for forever, Like, he still fears Odin and how much of a great man he was. But when it comes to the skills of a swordsman, like, yo, just Zoro being able to build his legacy and his legend here before our very eyes, even more so than he already has in the series, against Kaido, it's so filthy, man. I love it. And it's like, it's incredible to me seeing Zoro grow into this before our very eyes. Before all of this started going down, and whenever he first got Enma, I was like, he's going to put in work, but he's going to be kind of like when Luffy first did Gear 4th. It's going to take him a while to get adjusted to it. Zoro has been adapting like my boy just switched over from PS4 to PS5. That's seamless of a transition. Like, yo, he missed last chapter, big deal. Going up in like Swimmer again. Still putting in that work. Still putting in that work with all 3 blades. Zoro is going in, man. I'm loving the Zoro love. And in this arc, we've been seeing some greatness, bro. It's been nuts. And knowing how much Toei loves Zoro, when they get to this part in the anime, oh my gosh, man. Yo, I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine, man. It is literally going to be beyond imagination on some editor stuff. The editors weren't lying, bro. Like, y'all remember whenever the editors were like, yo, this is going to be beyond imagination. It's going to be the most exciting stuff since Marineford. And, for a while there, I was like, man, yo, like my Dressrosa was amazing. That took it different. Whole Cake Island, that took it different. Like, yo, we've had some highs post-time skip. Reverie, it's like, yo. But they weren't lying. They weren't lying. Bro, this right here legit reminds me of the insane stretches that we got in Marineford, bro. From a hype standpoint, from an importance standpoint. Nah, man, yo, this right here's hit. Roof piece? Dog. But anyways, Zoro and Luffy continue to go up in like Swimmer, just loving the love for the captain and his vice captain. That's the future Pirate King and the world's strongest swordsman. Crafting their legacy before our very eyes. Like, at the end of this arc, both of them are going to be so filthy and with so much added to their legend. It's going to be nuts, man. But just seeing it before our very eyes and seeing stuff like this, like Luffy going ham on Kaido to the point where he knocked him down. Kaido gets back up and legit looks shook. Legit looks like he just got rocked. He gets backed up. And then Zoro goes in on him, penetrates the scale. Like, you'll love to see it, bro. But what I love so much is that immediately, showcasing the true power of an emperor, even before the hybrid stuff, still in the dragon state, goes back and counterattacks that. And Oda does all of this in double page spreads. And it's like, bro. Insanity. Insanity, man. Insanity. And of course, ending the chapter with him in his hybrid form. And now it's really about to start going down. There is no break next week. What an amazing series, bro. Like, yo, we are truly living and experiencing one of the greatest stretches in the One Piece manga right now, man. It really is, dude. It is out of this world from an action standpoint. I mean, he is on top of his game, bro. Every chapter has been hype. Every chapter has been impactful, insane. I mean, everything, bro. It's like you can't stop, dude. It's too good. Like, I can't imagine someone years down the line, or maybe next year, whatever, somebody catching up to the series and they get to binge all of this. Can you imagine binging all of this, dude? My brain couldn't handle it. Nuts. Just crazy, crazy, craziness, man. And the fact that Big Mom has barely scathed. Like, Big Mom has barely received anything. And now she's like, yo, I'm gonna start having some fun too with you, Kaido. That's really, really scary, bro. Really scary. And so, with that being said, I'm really excited for what's about to take place on the roof. Now, even more so than I was before, because now Luffy's been taking out a Gear 4th. Now we're going to have this time period where he has to relax and chill for a bit before he gets back in on the action and gets back to the main event, especially whenever we get to see hybrid form Kaido versus what I'm calling right now, Snake Man Rio hockeyed up Luffy going up in like somewhere, bro. And of course, I expect that to only go so far. Like, I think we're going to see him be able to go in like somewhere, but it's only going to get him so far. And after Snake Man goes in, I'm not entirely sure what takes place after that. I don't know if he's going to go through a true mastery of Gear 4th, where he transitions between Snake Man, Tank Man, and Bound Man with Rio Hockey as this arc goes on, you know, really showcasing the mastery of G4, or if he does something even further beyond in terms of either a new form of G4, a G5, an awakening. I'm not sure, right? But what I can almost surely, you know, expect from this that's gonna take place here soon is that Luffy's either gonna have a fully mastered G4 by the time he gets the finishing blow on Kaido by doing literally everything he could possibly do with those three forms in Tank Man, Snake Man, and Bound Man, or he does everything that he can with those three forms and then either has something completely brand new or we see something we've never seen before, as in a new form, a new technique, an awakening, or a new gear. You know, that's it. That is going to be the most exciting thing from Luffy's case, because we can now see that this man can put in that work. I mean, Luffy, dude is going in, all right? And if he didn't have this time limit, and the only reason why the time limit's even there is because he hasn't gotten accustomed to using the Rio Hockey with the G4 yet. Wait until he gets accustomed to using the Rio Hockey with the G4. Oof. Ooh, and he's able to switch between the forms on some Ben 10,000 Omnitrix stuff. Get out of here. Luffy's going to be disgusting. He already is. But just wait until that happens. But because this is Onigashima, because Oda's been building this up for so long, and because this will be the first time that Luffy really takes down an emperor, I do think that Oda's going to unveil something. It's going to be something, like I said. Either, you know, fully realized Rio Hockey, a brand new technique, you know, like I said, any of the other possibilities. It's going to be crazy, but the King's going to figure it out. The King's going to figure it out, and I'm super looking forward to it. And there's so many different possibilities and things that could take place. But for right now, hybrid form Kaido is here. You know, just when we thought we were getting the upper hand, just when we saw everyone starting to get, you know, the things in, especially Luffy and Zoro, it's looking bad now, man. Kaido's in his hybrid form, and if this dude starts his counterattack and legit starts going ham, this could get bad fast. Very fast. And so this is where now we're going to see what everyone's made of on both sides. Because now we're going to see the true strength of an emperor when they go all out. You know, we got to see Whitebeard go up in like somewhere, but he was old and sick. You know, we've seen the insanity of Shanks's hockey. We've seen the craziness of a divine departure from Roger. We've seen Roger and Whitebeard clash. We've seen all of these things. We've seen, and of course, in this arc, the scariness of Big Mom and Kaido throughout the course of the last 100 or so chapters. But you can never truly say that they went all out in any of those situations. It looks like now's the time. It's like now's the time for them to get serious. And with them getting serious, now we're going to be able to see the true strength of not only just one Yonko, but two. Two emperors. Completely serious and ready to go up and like somewhere to ensure that they survive and move forward with their dreams and their goals. So now, with that being said, to the individuals challenging them, the challenges for Kid, for Law, for Killer, and for the two goats in Zoro and Luffy, they gotta make sure that they have their A game on and they are ready to go up and like somewhere, because now it's time to truly see what everyone's made of, especially while Luffy's down and waiting out these 10 minutes. And you know what? I saw also another very interesting comment that this could very well be in a situation where Luffy thinks he has to wait 10 minutes, but maybe he has more mastery in hockey than he realizes himself, and he's able to get back into it even faster than he initially anticipated. And I could also see that being a thing, and that would actually be really cool if Oda were to do that. But even if he doesn't do that, and he has to wait the full 10 minutes because of the Rio Hockey and has still having to adapt to the usage of the Rio Hockey Gear 4th, then they're going to have to protect him, bro. They're going to have to... It's about to be a 4v2 until Luffy's able to go up and like somewhere again. And they were barely getting it done on a 5v2 with Luffy wailing on him. So their main, source of action is currently down for the count for the next 10 minutes. Now it's time to see what everybody else is made of. We already got to see what Zoro's made of. Zoro's been going ham the last 3 chapters. Dude's going in, he's going to continue to go in. Because the more that he gets accustomed to really using Enma's aura and going up and like swimwear and really taking that blade on his own and doing his own thing, feeling more comfortable with it, hitting blows, using more techniques, Zoro's going to be doing damage. I don't give a flying flat irons who's in his way. He's going to be putting in that damage. And so, with that being said, we've already seen what Luffy and Zoro are capable of. I'm really now super, I'm going to be keeping an eye out for Kid, Law, and Killer. And seeing what they've got now face to face with 2 serious emperors, man. And I've got full faith in all 3 of them. They're going to be able to go up and somewhere, because we are talking about Law, Kid, Killer. Characters that have been built up for quite some time, and characters that we respect when it comes to strength, planning, and being able to go up against these types of characters, because this is a new generation. But now we're going to see what they're made of, and I can't wait to see what takes place next, man. Regardless of what we do next chapter, whether 1004 is the end of the act, us going back to seeing what everybody else is doing and their matchups and everything down below, or whether we stay up here on the roof and see hybrid form Kaido go and destroy everything in his way. I can't wait to see it, because this is Goat Nigashima, and Oda has proven that at this point in time, man's can do whatever he wants, and it's going to be absolutely amazing, dude. What an arc. And I can't wait for the next one. No break, so I'll see y'all for chapter 1004 this week. What a time to be a fan, man. Yo, we're going to be able to look back on this in the future and be like, yo, I experienced that on a weekly basis, bro. Let me know what if y'all have any other additional thoughts and or comments for this chapter out here for the Afterthoughts. But aside from that, man, I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend and or week, day, whatever. Because this chapter, man, we're in for something. We're in for some craziness. He's just showing out. He keeps one-upping himself with every chapter. What happens next? What in the world is gonna... I don't know, bro. I don't know. Craziness. Kaido's about to go in, man. But even then, you already know. Full faith in the king, full faith in Zoro, and full faith in the rest of the boys up there. And of course, 100% full faith on the rest of the Straw Hats that have to win their own individual battles as well, because those are just as important as the ones on the roof, man. But until next time, peace out. This has been the Afterthoughts, man, and thanks for watching.